Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. We're going to be talking about GCSE compounds featuring our Lego analogy from the last video. In the last video we talked about atoms and elements, so check that out if you haven't already. But yeah, let me show you the quick analogy for that. Remember what we talked about? Atom is a block of Lego. It's the building block for everything. It's the smallest part of an element. It makes up everything around us, okay, just like this Lego block makes up this whole city. And then the elements, it's an element is made up of it's a substance made up of one type of atom, just like this red pyramid, how it's made up of one type of Lego color. And then today we're going to talk about compounds, which is here, picture 3. Imagine this whole city of Lego. We're going to be diving into that. Okay, so timeline of the lesson, compounds, then we're going to do a finale, exam questions, okay? So the first thing you need to know is compound definition, okay? So a compound is a substance made up of two or more different elements bonded together in a fixed ratio. Okay, so this is a very meaty definition, but we will break it down, okay? Together we will. So let's go over it. Compound is a substance made up of two or more different elements, okay? So for this one, just imagine elements joining together. That's literally all compounds is. Elements joining together. Elements are bored and they join together. So imagine here, Charlie, shout out to Charlie, and then he's very lonely, he's very sad. He wants to become friends with Jamie, and they become friends. Okay, that's literally all elements is. Elements joining with another element, and then they form a compound. Okay, but then this happens chemically. It's not just mixed together. It's not just like a random process. It's like it happens chemically. So there's a bond between them. There's a bond between them. It's a strong bond, and this is a chemical reaction. Okay, so yeah, that's literally all it is. It's a chemical reaction. And let's just say we want to go back from a compound to our original elements that we made the compound from. Then again, we would need a chemical reaction to do this. But this time, instead of making the bond, we are breaking the bond. So imagine here, Charlie and Jamie, they were friends, they became a compound, and then they had a big fight, they had a big fallout, and now they want to split up. So they're going to have a chemical reaction, and they're going to go back to their from a compound to its original elements. Okay, next, this bonded together in a fixed ratio. What does that mean? Fixed ratio. This basically means that let's just say we have let's just say we want to make water. Okay, water is a compound. All right, water, we need hydrogen and we need oxygen. Okay, hydrogen is an element, oxygen is an element. They're two different elements and they're going to chemically bond together. Okay, what fixed proportion means is that when you're making water, which has the chemical symbol of H2O, you're always going to have two hydrogens and you're always going to have one oxygen. Okay, so H2O is always going to be H2O. It's never going to be H3O2. No, it's never going to be H3O3. No, it's always going to be H2O. Okay, and that's what fixed proportion is. It's the ratio. The ratio of hydrogen to oxygen atoms is always going to be 2 to 1. Okay, and I'll help you guys calculate the ratio in a different video, but that's all you need to know now. Okay, you need to know the definition, and you need to understand that a compound is made up of is a substance made up of two or more different elements bonded together chemically, and then it's bonded in a fixed ratio. All right, where the atoms used to make the elements used to make the compound, they have a fixed ratio, and the ratio is always the same. Okay, so imagine this Lego city over here. Okay, look how all the Lego pieces here, the elements, all the Lego pieces, look at how all the Lego pieces are just combined together. It's so connected. Okay, that's how you make a Lego city. All right, the city's connected. You can't just You can't just, if I want this piece over here, I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but look, if I want this specific piece over here, I can't just take it. I have to remove, I have to take off this building, and I have to take it out and then put the building back on, okay? So that's what a compound is, okay? It's made up of two or more elements chemically bonded together. So there's a bond, it's hard to break, and there's a chemical reaction that's needed, okay? And that's what it is, all right? So finale, summary, I just summarized it here with the picture, compound, okay? And then the exam question. Carbon dioxide has the formula CO2. How many atoms of each element are there in one molecule of CO2? Carbon dioxide, explain your answer. Whoops, sorry about that. So it has the formula CO2. So it's saying this is one molecule of CO2. So one molecule of CO2. CO2 is carbon dioxide. It's a compound. It's a compound, and it's saying how many atoms of each element are there. So how many elements are there? There's two. There's carbon and there's oxygen. How many carbons are there? There's one carbon. How many oxygens are there? There's two oxygens, because look, there's the number 2 here. And there's no numbers around carbon, so there's only one. Okay? And then explain your answer. When you explain your answer, all you need to say is that because compounds are in fixed proportion, which goes back to our point before where CO2 is always going to be CO2. Why? Because there's a ratio, okay? There's a chemical ratio and it's always going to be that, okay? So just, yeah, learn this fixed proportion. And yeah, that's it for today's video. So make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and check out our next video where we're going to be talking about mixtures.